Hello, 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 my lovelies. Hello, Candy, my lovely.
Hello, lovely Richie. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to do this because
I know.
we were saying backstage, we're not quite sure the last time we did a live.
I
It
know.
feels like a few months ago, but I got a feeling it's nearly getting on for a year. So it's so lovely to have the opportunity to talk to you again.
I can't believe it's been a year. Literally, I'm going to look back as soon as
We'll
we
have to
finish.
look. I might have been wrong, but it's certainly been more than 6 months. It was certainly back.
It feels like about 3 months. That's scary.
That takes us to about Christmas, and it wasn't that, but
No.
but it's very memorable because I remember all those wonderful bits of art that you had, and people were raving about it. So I'm so excited to have a chance to talk to you about journaling. That's what we're
journaling. Yeah,
journaling. Now
I don't think I'm a journaling expert, but then I've looked to the side of me, and on my bed here, it's like absolutely covered in stuff. So I've obviously got things to talk about, but I don't class myself as an expert. But that's good.
I think that's a good thing, actually, because I don't even class myself as a novice, and I've got lots of not even that. I mean, we'll talk about that bit in a moment, but
you can allow yourself a novice label. I'm not even a beginner.
I'm not even. Well, up to about 6 months ago, I never had. So that's why I'm classing myself as low on the ladder of journaling. But that's why we're here to talk about it and hear people's comments and discussions about it. Because I don't feel like I need help with it, but I'd like some ideas to inspire me. That's what I'm thinking. And I thought, who's one of the most inspirational people I know on YouTube?
And they couldn't come on, so you asked me.
Couldn't come, so I asked you.
Okay. Well, no pressure then.
And I thought, do you know what? I know somebody like you would just be fantastic to talk about all the different ideas and stuff because you're so inspiring. The last time we did a live, we were going to go off and start doing journaling, weren't we? We were going to do something about the sea, weren't we? We were
going to do shared journals and art projects, and a year on, we've not even said hello to each other.
This is the start of it. So let's draw a line under that and go into chapter 1. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Good. And journaling is just so fun to talk about. Now, one of the things you said to me backstage was you're just scared about like rules and stuff.
Yeah.
But there are no rules. So I want to talk about that at some point. But look at all the lovely people.
Let's say hello to a few lovely people. Now, the first one in is somebody who who you've done a live with already this week. The lovely Gerald. Hello, Gerald. If you haven't yet seen Candy on Gerald's channel, when was it? Tuesday, wasn't it?
It was Tuesday, yeah.
Do go and watch that video. It's amazing, wonderful. So do catch that one if you haven't.
See Gerald sewing on there.
Oh, you get to see the quilt.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say any more. Don't spoil it for anyone, but you do have to watch that video. And he has put a link into your YouTube, one of your YouTube channels, I should say.
Yeah, 2 now. I'm a 2-channel girl.
I love that. I mean, let's not have one, let's have 2 and do everything else with it. You're so good. Lynn, hello, Candy. Happy Friday to everyone. Hello. Hershey is here. Hello, everyone. Sending blessings and positive vibes. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. Emma, hello to you.
Hi, Emma.
Chat lovelies as well. A lovely welcome. Donna, hello to you. Good evening. And hello, Ren. I hope you are very, very well. Ellen is here. Hello, Ellen, who has got, looks like she's journaling in her.
Oh, look, there's pressure. Somebody's got it in their
professional journaler here. So let's have lots of helpful advice, and that'd be brilliant. Thank you. That'd be fantastic. Beth's here. Hello there to you. Kristen Louise is also here.
Hi, Kristen.
There's loads of people here.
Loads of people. Look at this.
Regina is here. Hello, she's
Regina, it looked like I was about to give Regina the finger then, but she made me that. So
it's beautiful work, isn't it, that she does?
I wasn't about to flip her the finger, honestly.
She probably wouldn't have minded, to be brutally honest, but she's work lurking, so she wouldn't have. You're absolutely right, Gerald. It's so wonderful to see so many people here. Isabel is here. Hello to
Oh, hi, Isabel.
you. And Donna, I think I've caught Donna, but hello. Iridescent Sea Designs, a lovely name there.
What a lovely name.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, Gerald says the video of the quilt should be posted Saturday. Is that the making of the quilt?
That's his making. He said he was going to do one. Brilliant.
Trisha is here. Hello, Trisha. Welcome to you. And Elspeth, hello, hello, hello. Lots of lovely people here. Thank you so much for joining us. And there's the link to the doll channel, because people that may not have met you before, Candy, and I find that hard to believe that no one's heard of you. But you have 2 channels, don't you? You have.
I do know, yeah.
One's for the dolls, because you're a great collector and lover of dolls.
Yes, and a great lover of dollies and toys of all sorts, but dolls particular.
And the other side's to do with your tarot, oracle, mindfulness, that kind of
garden. Everything else, the kitchen sink,
everything else.
I need about 4 channels, really.
Well, you have time. Yes, you can. You make time. You're one of those people that I don't know how you manage to fit everything you do into your day.
It's Tilly training to do life with no sleep.
Hershey says like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you for reminding us. And anyone else here? I think we've got everyone. Oh, Dancing Soul Sister is here. Hello to you, my lovely.
Hi.
Welcome.
That's a nice name too.
Ham Journal Create.
Oh no, the pressure's on.
Pamela from Costa Rica, lovely to see you here. Another person that journals. I'm sure there's lots of people in chat that's journaling. Great, because we're going to have lots of questions. Please feel free to put your comments in as we go through this, because I need to know. I need a bit more help with this one here. And thank you very much. It is lovely, but it is chipping and needs to come.
Yes, it's lovely.
Hello to anyone else that's catching us on playback or coming in later. Don't worry, you're very welcome. Right, let's get down to it. So I'm going to say, how long have you been journaling, Candy?
Oh my gosh! Well, it depends. It depends what you mean by journaling, because I think that's the first thing, really. Because, I think the idea for me of journaling, and it was a stumbling block for a long while, was like, is it like a diary where the calendar and a checker and what's happening in the week, or is it a sketchbook, is it art, is it drawing, is it more visual? So there's like diaries, sketchbooks, like actual notebooks that you just grab and write in, or is it like a scrapbook where you collect things? If you take all of that remit of just working inside a book, I've literally been doing it since I was a little kid, like drawing little pictures and writing little words with pictures in books. So, but it depends. I mean, if some people might say a sketchbook isn't a journal. It's got to just be words. But I don't think there are any rules. And I think once you start putting rules in, you can either A, get intimidated, B, feel you're not good enough, C, get bored. If you're like me, you want to do lots of different things. So I've been grabbing notebooks and scribbling in them since before I can even remember.
That's amazing. Is there a particular, I'm going to say, time in your life when you think that journaling kind of helped, or there was a particular time you felt that your journaling was more, I don't quite know the word I'm trying to say, but is there a point in your life where perhaps journaling went from just being something you can do as a hobby to actually start to sort of really help with working through some things?
Yeah, I mean, I think going through my 40s and into my 50s, life just got more chaotic. I became like a single mom then, like my marriage broke down. I was on my own with the kids. I was like trying to grapple with divorce. Life can get chaotic, can't you? And for me, journaling in that time, it felt like a lifeline in the choppy waters of life, and it felt like somebody was literally throwing me like a life ring with a rope attached. That's what the journal felt like, and it became a safe space to come
Yeah.
and just regroup for the ready for the next day. And I think that's one of the nicest things for me about journaling. It's like a safe space where you can just settle down the chaos of life.
That's really nice, like nice way of putting it, because as I've just started journaling, and I'm going back to what we said previously, I'm not quite sure if I'm writing a diary or am I doing a journal, or is it something else in between. And that's,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm, as you say, the moment you start to put rules and start to question what you're actually doing, you're actually knocking down that energy that's supposed to be coming out. So I thought, I'm going to try not to let it get to me. However, as a person who likes being organized and having things in sections, starting off a journal is quite problematic for me, which is why in a moment when I show you all the lovely journals that I've got, hardly any of them have been written in, because I don't quite know where to start.
I think it's honing down your intent for the journal. What is your intention? Is it a place to hold memories and to write what happened in the day that you can read back on and look back on? And are you going to add pictures into it? You know, is it like a sort of more handwritten journal? Is it going to be more like a diary where you've got, say, a week ahead tarot spread and you've got a page layout for what's happening this month or this week? And do you want it all modelled up together, or do you want separate notebooks? I mean, my best advice is buy loads of books if you want to do lots of different things. So I think fine honing what your intent for that particular book is really a good place to start. I mean, you might decide, actually, I don't want any intent for this book. I just want to open the page and whatever I need that day is what's going to go on there. It's what's going to go on there, and that's fine. But some people don't like that, though. Some people want, like, it. They know what this book is for, and so it's. There are no rules. That's why there are no rules, because you might have a different intent. You might be a completely different personality. So
yeah, I think that's a really useful thing to hang on to, and something that I've only learned in the last few weeks, I think, because I started here we go. I'm going to show you the first thing, the first show. But I'm just going to say what Gerald's put up there. He says he agrees. What is the intent? What is the intention? I've learned to be easy on myself and let it evolve as I use it.
Yeah.
So this year was the first year I thought, right, we're going to do some journaling, because I'm going to be really honest. When I came back into tarot 8-10 years ago and started to discover YouTube and TarotTube and everything like that, it dazzled me. It was wonderful. Everyone think, and then people go, well, I've done this, and then I go and journal about it, and I'm like, what are they doing? What are they writing about? And the whole idea of, well, what are you just putting down your thoughts? Are you doing anything else? So that whole concept was a little bit of a put me off before I even started there with that one. So I was very much like, I don't see myself as a journaler. And that comes, and I really hate to say this, from probably being a male born in the 70s, where you probably didn't write down your thoughts and your worries and your, you know, all the things that you wanted to. That it wasn't encouraged.
No,
so
it wasn't.
I don't come from a space where it's natural for me to write down all the things that perhaps I should. So I'm going to put that one out there, because that's where I'm coming from on that one there.
Yeah, I mean, for me with the tarot journaling, I mean, I'll show you. Were you going to show a journal? Have I jumped in?
You go in first, because I'm going to just you go first, because I'm going to show mine. You've got more to show than I have.
I mean, this is ridiculous. This one, it's so massive. I mean, look how fat this one is.
Oh my word.
So this was the first. Hang on, can you see it? Is the light okay?
Do you want me to put you on widescreen so that you're on? Can you fit it?
Yeah, but my phone, it always goes this way up, so it might not make me any bigger on there. Try it and just see. I bet it won't. No, see.
It's going to just do it like that. Okay, not to worry, but we can see.
So this, the thing that I found difficult with journaling was worried about where to start or ruining the page or just not knowing where to start. It was always that idea of like the index, and if I put something on this page and then something on the next page, how am I going to find it? And that idea of like the index, where should that go and how shall I organize it and how many pages shall I leave for that? So to get round that, when I started tarot journaling, because I know what I'm like, I know that I was stressing about stuff like that, I just made this out of well, it was Amazon envelopes and just a book from the charity shop that I tore all the pages out, and then I kept adding to it with Amazon envelopes. And this was my very first tarot journal, and I thought, I'm not going to worry anymore. I'm just going to play and just decorate it and put sparkles on it, you know, and I would take photographs of my cards that I pulled and just write them in. And every month what I did, I was doing watercolors for I was doing watercolors for whatever moon it was. So this is a buck moon, and I would photograph my artwork and put it at the start of each month. And for me, that kind of helped me to literally organize it, because it was the organizing of it in there that I panicked about. So I just thought, I'm just going to put that first month page down with some artwork. And then whatever comes after that, it can be anything. It can be tarot, it can be thoughts, it can be art, it can be anything. So you can see like September, there's the beginning of September.
Oops, sorry.
And and that it was just really good to just have that one hook. I'm just going to put the first month page, I'm going to decorate it. If nothing comes after that, then fine. But also making it all out of scrap was just so good. And very quickly doing that, I tell you what, this made me realize. It made me realize that I was using journaling to feel grounded.
Yes.
Because this was part of the time where there was a bit of chaos going on as well. So what I started doing, because I loved that feeling of being grounded, at the start of every month, I would also put moon dates in the moon calendar. I'd find it on Pinterest, print it off, just like screenshot it on my phone, then print it off, and then write all the dates for all the different moons, and that would go on at the start of the month as well. So quite quickly, through working like that, just doing anything, I realized putting that moon in was really important, and demarcating just the month, it was just enough to stop me panicking about the organization of it.
That's amazing. It's a beautiful piece of art again that you've created. And why, you know, Candy, of course it was going to always be a beautiful piece of art, because it's you, my lovely. And that's what you do. Whatever you touch is magical art, I have to say. But
look how many untouched pages there are in there. I mean, none of this has got any writing on. So, you know, I'm as guilty as the rest of them for missing pages out and like not doing things. But what I used this for, I would class this, the intent for this was tarot. It was for my tarot spreads, it was for tarot study. I very quickly realized the moon was important to go in there as well. So moon spreads, moon dates, study around the moon. It then, was it in this one? It then became a sort of deep dive study as well for studying decks. In fact, it might not have been in this one. It might be in my next year's tarot. So do you want me to show you the next one while we're on tarot?
I'm going to read some people's comments that I've got starred in here. Sorry, I can't read out everyone's because there's so many people in here watching. Everyone's, you know, having lots of lovely comments and hellos. So I'm just going to go through a couple there, and then we'll have a look at the next one. Emma's got a question. My question would be, for someone who journals words only and separately arts, any tips for merging the two into more art journaling? Probably I'm not going to answer that one because I can't help you with that one, I'm afraid, Emma. But
I can.
Any thoughts there, Candy?
This, I mean, I love reclaimed books, like altered books. I love this. This is actually a Reader's Digest gardening through the year, and I picked it up for like 20p in Oxfam. And I loved it so much, I bought another one online to adapt, and I bought another one to put on my shelf as a gardening book. But I know, but this one's kind of got the two things together. So I don't know if you remember, I did the video when they shot that deer in Liverpool.
Yes.
And I did a video about it, and I was so upset. I wrote this in tears early morning, and it was just the idea of like nature being in the middle of a town. So I did it with shapes, lots of nature shapes in town, and the fact that it shouldn't have been there. And I wrote all my thoughts about it underneath. So it's not Ghost, by the way. That's Rupert just come in, if you wondered why the door opened by itself. He's like, I cannot get up onto the bed. Go on, up your bed. Go on, up your bed. So, I mean, that's one way to incorporate it. And then, see, that's just purely art on that page. But sometimes I think if you're making pictures and you're doing it visually, you can think of the words in your head. You don't necessarily need to then write them down, because it almost puts you in a trance-like state to do the artwork, where you can think of it and you get through the whole thing without writing it down. That's what happened on that page. I was working through something and the images were coming from it, and I was going to write it on when I'd finished, but it was done. By the time I'd done the visual, it was done. But on the next page, there was something else I was working through, and you can see the words. Can you see the words in white?
Yes.
They did end up going in there. So this was The Night Circus is one of my favorite books, and one of the key phrases is the circus arrives without warning, and the book starts with like somebody in a tree watching this magical circus suddenly appear. And somebody had said to me, oh gosh, your life's a circus. It's like the circus coming to town when you come in. And I just played on my mind, and I thought about that phrase and like all the shocking things that happened in my life, and the fact that my life is sometimes a bit of a circus. It is a bit madness. And like that idea of being somebody. The dog's whining because he can't get up on the bed.
Oh,
come on.
Go on. Up.
Come on up. Come on. Honestly. He was like crying behind me. I thought, I don't make space for him.
As long as he's happy now, is he comfy? That's fine.
He's just jumped on. He's fine now. He's on the bed. He's fine. So that the ideas that were going through my mind that I wanted to journal about, that somebody had like triggered in me, and it was like a sort of an emotional trigger as well to things of the past. Doing the imagery worked it out, and then also doing the writing, putting the writing in as well. So it's you can do both things together.
I've got a question for you. I've just thought of while looking at your work. Do you ever date your entries?
No. See, I think that would stress me out a little bit. It's the same thing. Sorry about the dog. It's the same thing as like the idea of an index. It would stress me out a bit. What is wrong with you? Stop. No.
I always write the date on there. I suppose that's going back into its diary form, but I almost want to record the date when I was feeling this and reflecting on it. So I often, particularly if I'm doing a tarot spread, I'll put the date in for it then. But I know that when you're creating stuff like you've done there, Candy, just the process of working it through, it kind of automatically sticks in your head, although you don't actually know the precise date that you made it on. You can probably remember the year, what the season was, what time of year it was, that kind of thing.
And because it's not really like like that goes back to intent, doesn't it? If you do want something that's going to be more like a record, like on this day I did this and on that day I did this, and they're like the key points, and using it like as a memory record, then you would date. But I wasn't using it for that. I was using it more as a healing spot. To land. So
lovely. I'm going to just read out some of the other comments. Do you want to show some more of your
going back to that idea of how to incorporate words and visuals? I had to work that out myself when I was doing
Oh, looks like we've lost Candy there for a second. I'm sure
Am I back?
Oh, you're back. Okay,
Am
that's all right.
Is my signal all right?
You're fine. Yeah, it was just a second.
When I was doing emotional literacy work, I was using my journal then for, again, as a healing space. This is the intent thing. And any emotional trigger in the day, if I reacted strongly to anything, I would say pick one event, say something had happened in the day, and I'd try and write, where did that come from, where did the reaction come from, like tracking back core wounds, trying to develop emotional literacy language. And I was doing the writing as well as the mandala, and I did that for a while. I did that in different books for a while. Like here's another page, the writing's under here. And then I suddenly realized, actually, the writing, I've already done it all, because I've thought it through as I was drawing. Again, it's that sort of mantra. So very quickly it became just the drawings.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And it's bizarre because you can think to yourself, well, yeah, but you've got no record then. You've got no record of like, but I would never go back and read these. And my handwriting's really scribbly anyway, because I think too quick for my hand to be able to write neatly. But when I go back and I look at these drawings, I remember really clearly kind of that like movement through healing and becoming more emotionally literate. And there's like a real feeling of journey and peace when I come back and look at the mandalas. I remember my journey way more than reading all those scribbly little notes would ever give me. So that's why I think that's why I like to say there are no rules, and that it starts to get almost like you've got no permission to do what you want if you start thinking, well, is this a sketchbook, or is this a journal, or is it a diary? It can be all of those things all at the same time, depending on what you need.
I'm only beginning to realise. And as this has only got a few entries in it, and most of them are written. And this is a notebook that I picked up from Wilko's. It was £1. It's a gardening.
Yeah, see, they're brilliant though. Notebooks.
I'm just gonna, and this was just, I wanted something that was kind of a little bit like just my thoughts of the year, a bit of a grimoire, important dates. And then I decided that I was just going to not put an order, but just go through the year on it. So I've got things like card of the year. So this is mainly tarot, but it started to develop into something else. So I started to get the sabbats in there. As you can see, I'm very into my writing with different inks and stuff. And then I started sections. So it's almost, whereas it's not necessarily a journal, it doesn't start off as a journal. It does start to become reflections. So when I started to do the work with the trees of the year, it's much more, it's gone from being something as a formal, almost diary entry to something that's a bit more fluid. So it's beginning to develop. And that's
there's more reflection coming into it.
More reflective in there. Yeah. And that's been really useful when I moved on to this one, which is my Wildwood, because I'm studying the Wildwood Tarot for the year.
Fantastic.
And this was an old book that I had, and it's a bit of old Christmas paper that I stuck over it.
I love that.
Just to upgrade it to look at it.
I just love wrapping paper and
oh my God, I hate throwing away wrapping paper. things
No,
like that.
I mean, when you think like what one piece of wrapping paper costs and all the different designs, it's just it's so good for journaling with.
Yeah. But this has now turned into a bit more a reflection. And actually, this is a reflection I started before I even started doing the Wildwood. And it's more about what my thoughts were about it. So by moving on from that, I've progressed onto that, which is really exciting. So that's my
fantastic
pathway that's there with that one. So
yeah.
I'm not going to read out bits of mine, and I don't have any particular artwork, but I'm going to show you something in a minute that I've been working on last year. So I'm just going to read out everyone's some comments, if that's okay, because there's so many great ones up there. Gerald says started journaling because of the Artist Way book. It's helped put pen, pencil, paint to paper. Hershey says, I tried to journal. I got lost in thousands of thoughts, and before long I'm doodling and 135 blocks from where I've started. I am not doing it wrong. Just take 19 side stories to get it out.
Yeah.
Isabel says, I have various notebooks, and I think like Richie, I was thrown by not having the structure, and I berate myself for not keeping it up because of the busy life. It's that structure, isn't it? We're kind of often institutionalized in our workspace, and that we have to have structure, and to let go of that's really really quite hard.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to mute and I'm going to turn my camera off to try and get the dogs out. You carry on talking and I can listen.
All right. Gerald says, my only rule is to date each entry. So you are a dater with that one. That is helpful because I don't always use my journal in order. That's a nice idea. So if you're going to jump between sections of it to keep it in order, could even have different colors, couldn't you, to help there with that one? Beth says, I have journals in the 2 rooms where I read. Tarot, they are a hodgepodge of time frames and topics. Just talking about Beth's journals. Now, I don't know if you've seen any of Beth's videos that she's made for her channel about her tarot. It's her artwork in it is amazing, and again, it's a beautiful thing to look through with all the different spreads and readings and other bits and pieces. So I really enjoy looking at those videos there. Donna says, I've just finished watching Tour Elder Deck video. Oh, that's a reply to sorry, Basil's now joining in. He wants to be part of the live.
I've had to put the dogs out. Rupert was crying. He just wanted me to fuss him.
That's fine. As animals are craving our attention. That's what we get them for. And then just when we're busy,
yeah, it's just like, fuss me.
Isabel Blue Sapphire says, I also think that sometimes putting pressure on myself to journal reading then stops me doing that at all, because I find it difficult to decide what to write. A lot of people are saying it's that pressure of,
that idea that you've got to do it every day as well, or you've got to do it every reading, and it's just doesn't need to be like that. Just do it when it feels right.
Astaria saying hello to you, says, I just saw you alive, and journaling is one of my fave things. That's great. Good that you found us. Good, lovely to see you here. Robin, hello, Robin. An empty page is always the most daunting thing, and I think in a moment we'll later on talk about how we can get over that first page problem, obstacle, and some ideas around that one. Emma says, I feel like I still have a little voice in me that I'm afraid someone will find my journal. Need to remember I'm a grown-up adult who lives alone. But there is that, isn't it? If you start putting your thoughts in there, you're thinking, you know, what if people find this? What, you know.
Which is one of the nice things about journaling with the images.
True. True. Kristen says, I don't always know which thought forms should go into which journals, and so I end up not journaling.
See, it's that organisation, Kristen. That's the thing that would stop. That's my stumbling block as well. I'm thinking I should be. It's the shoulds. I should be more organised. I should know what chapter or section this goes in, and so I think it's just I started doing things out of order, literally not even doing the first place, opening it up and doing something in the middle, because then that really screwed it up from the get-go. And that's freeing. I suppose that's a really good way. Just going to go from the very start. There's going to be no order to this, and that's the joy of it. Yeah, I'll show you something I've done like that in a minute. Brilliant.
Uh, Gerald suggesting he puts some protection to keep the book away from unwanted eyes. Wow, there's 49 comments in the chat. There's so many people putting their lovely thoughts in. I do hope I'm not going to miss out anything. But hello to anyone that's joined us there. I'm just going to do a quick catch up here. So, do you want to show us another journal that you may?
Yeah,
have
I want to show
right.
you. Like,
I know from our last live, we just love looking at your artwork. And
oh, this is just like a B&M notebook. I mean, I think notebooks are so brilliant. It does not need to be a really expensive, like leather bound grimoire type thing. It can just be like a cheap notebook. This is where I'm doing all of my Arthurian quest in here.
Because you're studying the Hallow Quest, aren't you?
Yeah, and this is I'm not even a third of the way through, and I've nearly filled this book up. But this is literally just writing, and I think the last couple of years for tarot, I mean, this was a old notebook that had actually fallen apart, and I picked it because I thought, well, I don't want to throw it away, and there's no pressure if it's fallen apart. Like the first page, look, I literally had to sellotape it all together. That's the first page. It's all covered in sellotape to glue the spine, the sellotape the spine, and I just shoved a sticker on the front. I put "Slow Living Freedom," which is my word of the year. 2022. Lovely. I didn't use it all up, so I've now added 2023 to it and my word of the year story. I mean, it's not exotic, is it? No. But that is this now is just for sometimes I grab it for an odd thought. Sometimes I will, like, I just, instead of doing fancy photographs, which was costing me a fortune in printering, I just thought, well, I can just draw a little rectangle and write what the card was in there. It's not as pretty.
It's not as pretty, but
it works. And if I write at the top what the deck was as well, if I want to go back and look at it, I can lay the spread back out because I know what deck it was, and I've written the cards down. And that's actually been working really well. So that is just cheap notebook. I do date these. If it's just I'm writing down tarot readings, I do date them. And then for Sylvain's 365 Yellow Bricks, it was like a Dorothy coloured notebook, again from B&M, good old B&M, like Ace of Heads. And again, it's
other shops are available, by the way.
It's exactly the same thing. I mean, there's the odd little scribble doodle in there that's relevant, but that is how it evolved. I mean, what are we, 23, 22, so 21 I was still making these. This is one, like, this isn't even a book, this is literally made into an Amazon envelope, and it's just like all glued on and just bits of metal put through, and it's so I was still doing this, and I have, to be honest, I have missed it, doing like these fancy ones, because it's really, really fun to do. You know, and like the and all the fancy pictures. That was the year ahead spread, and I loved working in this journal. I really did, but I don't go back and relook at it.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of time. So, you know, it takes time to do these things. But this was great as well, though. I used this for studying tarot as well. I put some, when I was deep diving with decks, I put some deep dives, like when I did a long time working with Dreams of Gaia. And look, you can see, like, there's just a calendar that size, so it's tarot journal and diary, because I had this out open on my desk every day. So I'm trying to find the page where I was pulling like a study card, like 2 or 3 cards every day across a month for the Dreams of Gaia.
Cool. That's amazing.
So it was, I loved it, and I think I'm going to do one again possibly next year.
Yeah.
But it looks really fancy and it's really impressive to do a flip through of.
Yeah.
But these are just as useful. And I haven't been spending like £30 every couple of months on printer cartridges.
Yeah. It's the purpose of what you want it for. It's going back to what we were saying earlier, isn't it? About that intention. I mean, as lovely as that big, wonderful piece of artwork actually is, the reason I chose something like that, if I'm on a train journey or going somewhere, I can pop that into a bag and journal when I need to, rather than, you know, think, oh, I'll write it down and then do it later, because I also know that if I don't do it later, it won't happen. So that's it. I'm just going to talk about Astara Sen's point here. They say I'm not much of an art journaler, but I have and include art into my journals, and I think that's the way I'm going to go on this one. I don't feel confident as an artist to do stuff, but I'm very much like taking bits out of magazines and collages and building things up that way. So do you do much collaging as well? Because I've seen a lot of the stuff that you make there, Candy, is
I'm just smiling at the pair of you, because you're saying like we're not art journalers, but we are going to put art in our journals. I'm thinking that makes you an art journaler. I think there's a lot of reluctance to use the word art or artist. You know, if you do art of any type, or you're cutting pictures out to collage into a journal, then you're an artist and you're an art journaler. But I think people just feel like there's some sort of badge that they need to get first before they can claim the word. It's funny. I think words can stumble. Words can stop you.
Yeah. And I also think, and I mean this from a very kind place where this is coming from, is a lot of people that show their journals on videos, much like this, have got ones and I go, oh, I could never do that.
Oh my gosh, let me show you. 2020.
2020.
Little did I know that by the time March hit, there was nothing going to be able to be written in here. I really got into in like 2019 watching bullet journal videos on YouTube, and some of the bullet journaling community, their journals are so stunning. So I thought, oh my gosh, it's the only time I've ever bought like a proper journal and not just a cheap notebook. So this is a bullet journal. Have to say I hate the paper in it. It's like so thin, so the notebooks are better. But I thought, right, I am going to do, look, 2020 shine. Little did I know. Yeah, right. And like goals, all my goals for 2020, things we were going to achieve. And then I did like month spreads. But I thought, right, I am going to become a bullet journaler, you know, like habits and goals to track throughout the year and all sorts of things going on. Social media trackers at the start, habit trackers. And I had to laugh because I found this for tonight. And my social media trackers I've not looked at. And I looked and I thought, oh, is YouTube on there? And YouTube, 15 subscribers.
Those are the days, mate.
And then every month I did like because my word of the year was shine, every month I decided to have like a different type of shine. So January it was about the shine of ice. And like I did habit trackers, every page was like themed around ice and like Jack Frost, and these are watercolors that I glued in, and it looks really impressive. And like brain dump pages, it looks impressive, but I spent so much time setting the damn thing up every month. I didn't have time to write anything in it or do anything, and I was doing no other art. You know, like February was like about the shine of lighthouses, so the whole theme was around lighthouses. And you know, every page had something to do with lighthouses. My habit tracker was a lighthouse drawing to colour in, but it didn't get coloured in because I didn't have time to do anything because I was doing all of this. And then by March I was doing stuff like this. I just thought, it's ridiculous. How do these people do it?
But isn't that interesting? Is that, yes, perhaps your process changed as it went through because 2020 and everything that went on there. Your processes changed and your journaling changed to fit in with what you get. And you're quite right. How do people have? We always set ourselves up against other people.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, these lovely videos that people make, and I go, I can never do that, which is why I'm actually surprised sitting here actually showing people some of this, because it's really out of my comfort zone when it comes to doing that. But that tells a story, what you've written down or what you've created. You've gone from beautiful artwork to having to go to write it, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Just to fit it in.
And then I started just writing my meditation notes in it then, like after meditation, like before I lost what I'd experienced in meditations, I would write it down. That's what I then started using the book for.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with all the beautiful bullet journals. I still watch those videos. I think people are brilliant at it. I know Jessica at the Moon, she does amazing journals with a lot of these sort of aspects in, and I love it. But for me, and I just, it didn't work for me. It was just too much setup. And after 2 months I was done. I just couldn't do it.
So our journaling, what we're saying is our journaling has to fit in with the time scale of when we can use it. Because I don't know about you, but do you set a time every day, or do you just journal as and when you feel like you need to?
At the minute it's as and when, but only because I'm just really chaotic at the minute. I think my journaling is much better when I give a set time to it. Yeah. What do you do? Do you find that?
For somebody who's just had a week off work, I can't believe how much time how busy I've been and how much time flies in the day. That's when I'm not at work. So I tend to make time when I'm going to journal. I haven't actually quite worked out when that right time in the day is for me. And it's another thing I don't want to just have to squeeze into another thing to do at a weekend when I'm at work. So it's, again, at the moment, I'm still at this process of trying to work, which is why we're having the conversations tonight about it as well. I try and work out, but I'm also very aware, having a channel and doing tree spreads and reading up and doing the world, is that my time has kind of got very, very short. And so what rather than getting wound up about all of that, I'm just going to do it when I physically can.
Yeah. I mean, I find as this has evolved, my actual journaling is more linked around my spiritual walk.
Yeah. Yes.
So for me, I will take the kids to school, walk the dogs, come back. And that's when, if I'm going to pull tarot, I'll pull tarot. So I'll be at my desk journaling there. That's when the 365 bricks happens. And then later on, after all the kids are fed in the evening, if I'm going to do any meditation or work with the weavers, say at my altar, that's when that happens. And that's when, like, either the Hallow Quest or work at the altar happens. So it's not, I think a lot of people have either got a morning journaling, like morning pages, or a nighttime. That doesn't work for me either, because I'm too tired at night and it's too hectic in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I can't at night. At night I'm just done. So but yeah, so it's definitely got more simple. I did find that sort of a happy medium was what I was doing in here, which was kind of with photos printed out, and just writing and like doodling patterns around it, which for me was more fun than just straight writing in a notebook. It felt a little bit more creative.
Can I ask a question? When you're going to do a page like that, do you have do you find the photo first and then journal around it, or do you have the, and I'm assuming you probably do, Candy, have an awful lot of photos and things cut out and stored ready to go in, and you find something?
No, I think, oh, I could put a photo for this. Which one would work, and go and print it out there. And then I'm not as organised as having a box of ready-made stuff. I photograph my own artwork and put it in, something that's relevant, something that's made me think of, and so that was fun, and like changing the direction of the writing. So there's a lot of moon spreads in this one, which I really liked. And then like some of it has changed from writing then to getting an idea for an image, which is like a spell drawing.
Yeah.
So that's like ink work. There's some collage in that as well. But that's evolved from the writing bit. So a lot of these are based on moon spreads.
Yeah.
But you can see it's a little bit of everything. It's a bit of doodling to change the direction. Sometimes changing the direction can actually help you with the meaning of of what you're writing about. Then if an idea for an image comes, I mean, that's all part of the process of working it out in your mind. Or, if I suddenly think, oh, I just want to glue down a load of shiny paper now after that message, then glue down a load of shiny paper on the next page, and that's part of it. So
entries that line paper or blank paper, or does it not matter to you?
The only time really any of these, the bullet journal was the closest I got to anything. This blank paper really that I really like to work with. It's all blank actually.
If I would go for lined paper, again, that says a lot about me, doesn't it? And having to keep to lines. So therefore I don't deviate away from the lines because I'm very used to writing on it. And again, I'm going to show you something in a minute, which doesn't have lines. And I'm going to be like, okay, so this is what makes it actually even more nerve-wracking, is that I've now got a big empty white space to do something on and no lines. So it's really interesting how our psychologies there work with those, even the formats of the paper. And I mean, is there a specific kind of paper that you use? Is there like a better quality, more like watercolor, or any paper that a journal comes in?
Well, anything really, because what I tend to do is I'm terrible for grabbing just a scrap piece of paper when a thought comes and writing on that and then gluing that in later. So and because I use a lot of upcycled books as well, I mean, this one I went through, and the first thing I did with this book was I glued every 4 pages together. I would glue them in a chunk so that there were less pages, but they were more like board pages. And then I could do whatever I wanted on them. So there's all sorts going on in here. This one.
Brilliant. That's so inspiring. Oh, you've made me want to go, and I'm sure lots of people here go and
I mean, look at that one. That's got sort of cardboard. Bits of cardboard with tacks in, and like weaving, and I've woven like words out of books through it, and like tarot readings, and so there's all sorts going on in there. But this is the book that I then started to panic that I was doing all sorts in here and it was all out of order and I wouldn't be able to find anything. And I just thought, oh, knickers to this, panicking. And I just went to the middle of the book, and I was doing a study on the Queen of Swords. And I thought, what does she mean? What does she mean to me? And I went to start writing. I thought, I'm not going to write it, I'm going to paint it. And that links to my memory, which might be something for everybody to consider. How do you remember things? Because I don't remember words. I'm visual. Everything for me is visual. And when I painted this, I mean, this is oil painting. So I gessoed. You can get cheap gesso in like the works. It's like £5 for a massive pot. So you just put gesso down first, let that dry, and then you can do anything. You can oil paint or anything. But I gessoed as well. I kept some of the words. Like I got rid of all the words apart from a few that linked to the Queen of Swords and what I was depicting. So that was brilliant because I put it right in the middle of the book. I thought, well, I can go anywhere now and just open it and do anything. Look, this is a page gessoed without any of my own painting on it yet.
Yeah.
So it's because it's an animal book. I left some of the images out and I've left some of the really interesting words out. I don't know yet what I'm going to do on that page. But people are saying like they're scared of the blank page. Go and get a pot of gesso and a great big paintbrush from the works or wherever, somewhere cheap, and then just do that. My neighbour gave me a whole pile of books like this, and this week I thought, well, I'm going to really start journaling properly this year. So I've been in each book, I've just been eliminating. So you can either, people always think, what am I going to add to a journal? What do I draw? Do I write? Do I have to date it? So it's all for stressing about what you're adding. But you can start off by subtracting.
Lovely idea.
Get the page and subtract. And this is like an old book. It doesn't matter what you do. So with this page, I opened it and there was this fantastic sort of cave painting image. And then there was this hillside with what looked like caves. And then I thought about like old symbols, magic symbols. And I thought, oh, this can be a page all about magic symbols. And then I thought, I wonder what the tree would look like if I just took it back to its main branches and that the shape of it for a symbol. But then after I did it, I could see the C for my name, and I can also see my old name in the tree as well, and that freaked me out. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is about the power of words and symbols. So this page is going to be all about that.
Fantastic.
So can I show you another one? Am I talking too much?
And I just catch up with some bits, and I will just get back to you. You're doing
just mute
fine.
me. Just mute
It's
me.
fine. It's fine. I'm just going to catch up with what a few people are saying there. Ellen says, I mainly write in my journal, currently using Filofax. Now, that's something I've left this comment up because I was going to say, have you ever thought about journaling in something with like a ring binder? I suppose that's kind of what you has something that you could change the order of stuff if we are feeling that we should keep something in order, or perhaps put things in specific sections, because that seems to be a problem that I and perhaps other people have to get started, is the fact that it needs to have some kind of physical structure to it. So perhaps keeping something in movable pages or those poly pockets or whatever, like a Filofax, could be a really useful way of doing it.
Really useful, and I have considered that myself. The thing that puts me off is my associations with Filofaxes, because I had about 12 big like ring binders for my divorce. So I see ring binders now and I go all I do now is I just leave about 4 pages free at the start, and I thought when it's all finished, I'm just going to write the index when it's all finished.
Or tear the pages out if you don't want. That's very honest. I like that one there. I suppose. Oh, I don't have it. Oh, sorry. I was thinking of Tony Antoinette. I'm so sorry, but good compliments there. Tony's the one on the channel that has all the journaling on there. So
I did wonder.
Yeah,
I thought I'd missed something vital.
I'm so sorry. It's a Friday evening brain fog going on there. But Beth says, yeah, to Rich's point, my journals have no art and I write illegibly, not a pretty sight. Well, no one else has to read it, do they? So it's personal to you. Peter, hello, Peter. And I hope you had a good birthday the other day. Kept journals since high school. They are portals. I love that. Lovely idea.
They're brilliant for magic practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely brilliant.
And here's Tony. Art journaling is a great way of working out the shit where tarot spreads, and journaling feels more like a record of where I was. And that's the compliments I was saying. Ellen says, I am 64 and I started journaling when I was 10 years old. I love to reread my journals, especially now I'm getting older. What lovely, lovely memories they must bring back as well, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And Iridescent Sea Designs. I've had a few journaling fails, but I have enjoyed keeping a dream journal, making collage booklets and drawing in sketchbooks. That's
Fantastic.
Do
What
you
a
do
brilliant.
dream journaling at all, Candy?
I well, I my dream journey. It's so funny. It goes onto my phone
Oh,
because I've realised that if I even wait 10 seconds, it's gone. Whereas if I wake up and the dream's there, so I have to literally grab my phone, and so there's loads of like completely black videos on my phone with me going, and then I walked into a room, and I'm still like asleep.
the Candy tapes one day will be published.
I should put them all together on a YouTube video. People would crack up.
Hershey was saying it was through my journey with journaling that I found myself drawing sigils. I find it healing and a great stress relief for me. How
Brilliant.
lovely. I love how it's leading on to other things as well.
Yeah.
Astaria Sen says, I'm currently doing a World Woman journal. Wow. I haven't added art yet, but I intend to have some art involved with the journey.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. And Robin says, I used to journal every time I got a new deck. I'll do a spread and see how it communicated with me if it opened up a new channel. That's really nice, Robin, as well.
Brilliant.
And Kathy, hi Kathy, said, I used to love backing my books in school. It's a great idea.
Oh, do you remember that? We were meant to back all our books. We would have a day backing books.
Yeah, you had all your textbooks and you'd have to take them home and you'd have to back them. And it was always a bit funny because some people backed theirs with wallpaper, some people did like brown paper, some people did newspaper and everything. It was a bit divisive, wasn't it? Kind of.
It was. Yeah, I was never very good at it. I haven't got the patience for anything precise.
Major River said, I'm going to the thrift charity shop to get some great books to tear up. Yeah.
And also,
I like to date mine as well. I think that's especially important.
While you're, sorry, I'm interrupting.
That's fine. No. Carry on.
While you're in the charity shop as well, it's not just looking for the books that you're going to like adapt or gesso or like alter. It's books like these that have got like amazing illustrations in. That you can buy and then like photograph and print them off or take them to a photocopier.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never cut into a book like this because it's just so amazing and precious. So I recently found that one, and then I bought this one as well for the 365 books purely to get the illustrations out to put into my journal. But you can find some amazing cheap, especially in the kids section or the nature section, amazing books that you can photocopy, and it's just such a brilliant way of getting fantastic imagery for whatever sort of themed journal that you've got. And also fabric photocopied. I photocopy lace. I take lace to the local post office to photocopy, and then you can cut it up and it's just so beautiful in a journal.
Oh, Candy, you're always full of such fantastic ideas. That's why I love having you on here. You've inspired me. You really have to go and do some bits. Gerald says, I'm always buying composition books after the back to school sales. Yeah, you got to know when to buy them. I've got lots of them there. Thank you to anyone who's putting comments into chat. I'm really sorry if I don't get through all of them. And I don't get.
It's my fault. I'm talking too much.
I know, because we love listening to you, but I've also feel like I should put some people's comments up.
I just get so excited about it.
And I love it, and it's very infectious. This is the last one, and then we're going to have a look at some more bits in a moment. I started to journal with any regularity when I started to learn tarot. Seriously, says Joe. I write a lot, then nothing at all. I've started to be a bit creative in my word vomit
books. I love it.
There's some great tomes coming out of that one there.
And I think we all do that. Sometimes we write a lot, sometimes we write nothing at all, and that's fine.
Beth asks, have you made a book for bibliomancy?
I haven't, but I do use bibliomancy. I've got a couple of books, and I will sometimes, like if the charity shop is selling off like books for 10p each, it doesn't matter what they are, I'll get them, because then I think actually there's some in here. I will bibliomancy and like point to a sentence, and then I'll cut out. Look, you can see I've done it there.
Yeah.
I'll cut out whatever I land on, and that goes in with the journaling. And that's sometimes quite a nice way for a prompt for journaling as well, if you want to do some writing.
Now, that was actually the next kind of thing I was going to talk about, Candy, is at prompts. Do you have a particular way of starting? If you're not quite sure how to get going, do you have a particular way of prompting yourself into a start?
I have, well, to be honest, my problem is my head's always so jam-packed of stuff. It's like trying to, like, it's like Seven of Cups trying to work out what the hell to pick first. But I do have some books like this. I mean, if you really are completely stumped and you don't know what to do, then books like this are fantastic. You can get, this is the Kim Kranz one, where they give you like the idea, the page is already started for you, and then you use that word to go with. I mean, this is one page that I've done. So on this page, it was just the image of the nest. That's all that was there. So everything else you see, I've added myself, and then I did journal writing that I then cut up and turned into nests. So, and then like from that, I then went on and did some tarot readings around those ideas, and made like a little book in the shape of an egg, and like put it in. So that's a really nice way. And I've also got, this is a kid's book. It's by Mariah Elizabeth. Create this book, and it's a similar thing. My kids all watched her on YouTube, and they all wanted this book for Christmas. I bought 3 of these, and none of them have done them, and none of them want them anymore. So I've got 3 of these, and I just thought I'm going to turn them into grimoires. I'm going to bibliomancy, open it up, and then whatever comes up, find a way to do like a witchy study around it. So those are really nice. But Pinterest, I mean, you go onto Pinterest, and there's just so many quotes. Also, I've got this one, which is brilliant for tarot themes. So this is Andy Matzner, Journaling the Tarot.
Wow, didn't know that existed.
They do have a smaller version of this, which is like a little small book, but then it went on to this. So it's journaling prompts around whatever card you pull.
Wow.
So things like, hang on, let me see what card we're on. 10 of Wands.
Yep.
In what area of your life might you be headed for disaster unless you make a radical change? What would that radical change consist of? So that's the top question. And you can see there's just tons and tons of questions. Wow. The whole book. I mean, look at it.
That's a big book.
So for tarot prompts around like a single card draw, she says, whacking herself in the face with it. These are brilliant. So you've got all of these, but Pinterest as well. Pinterest is just so good.
Cheryl says, some of my entries start, I don't know what to write. I like that.
Also, like you can do things like, you know, the bibliomancy you were talking about. Yeah. You could flip through a book, point to a word, and say it's like friendship or trees, and then you just put the word about in front of it, about trees, and then journal about trees, and like flick again, and like kitchen, about the kitchen, journal about that.
I like that.
So all sorts of ways.
On our phones, we've got a variety of apps, websites, and things that we could instantly just find a theme or a word like that, couldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, bibliomancy is brilliant. That brings kind of that sort of spiritual, you know, there's something else at play, choosing your word for you. It's not just luck. I mean, you could set up the altar, light all the candles, calling deity to give you a word, flick, and then you've got a word from deity. You know, it doesn't need to just be, it could be like you could really push the boundaries of what that bibliomancy is. Then
fantastic. Really good idea.
And I think as well, another nice prompt, if you really don't know what to to write about. We all need more self-love. Life is tough, and I think we're all too hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
And a really good one is to write about integrating your wins every day. What did you do that was really good? You're never going to go wrong with a prompt like that, because I think we don't stop and go, do you know what? Today was tough, but look at what I did there, and to let it sink in so it becomes a part of who you are. Journaling is really good for that.
Really handy, really good
Yeah.
ideas. You've filled me with so many good ideas. I need to race out and buy lots of books to fill them
I mean,
up.
gratitude lists as well. Journal about things you're grateful for in the day, all sorts.
A lot of people sort of do that as a kind of when they would go to sleep or in preparation to go to bed, wouldn't they? They would kind of reflect on their day and do it that way. So kind of something you're grateful for. So yeah, pop it down into a journal.
Yeah.
Jackie, hi Jackie, good to see you here. So, Jackie said I've got a page of prompts, cut them into strips and pick them at random to journal about that. Sometimes it's too hard-headed for one, they put it back and pick another one. What a great
I've seen people do prompt jars as well, where they print them all off, cut them up and put them in a jar.
Yeah.
So that's really nice to do.
You could get it from anywhere, can you? If you think about the crackers you get in a Chinese takeaway, you could almost...
Well, you could do it with charms as well. If you charm cast, just put your hand in the charms, pull one out and look at it and just write about what it's making you think about.
Yeah. Lots of lovely comments there. Hello, Duncan. Nice to see you here. Lots of lovely comments. I'm sorry we can't get through them all. Beth says, I like the idea of taking words from a book and adding them to a journal. Robin has asked, have your kids followed in your journaling footsteps?
The kids kind of write little books to themselves, which is really nice. I find like folded books and little stories, so they tend to do that.
That's really nice, because as a teacher, I'm going to say this, kids nowadays just like to use their phones much more. That's the society we live in. So the idea of going back and writing stuff down again just fills me with a little bit of sentimental. That's the kind of thing I would do as well, and it's just really nice that kids feel that they can do that. But having said that, and this takes me on to the next thing, have you ever thought about keeping an electronic journal?
No, I that just fills me with anxiety. Anything to do with the computer, I get anxious about, because I always think I'm going to hit the wrong button, or it's going to get lost, or the computer's going to crash. Honestly, I'm terrible. Everything online stresses me out, apart from YouTube, which I love.
But also, the process is different, isn't it? Having to type. For me, particularly, I have to think about typing. Handwriting kind of comes quite naturally. However,
and I know that a lot of the studies, because I've read a lot about, trauma recovery when I was doing the emotional literacy work, and there's a lot of studies that say the actual action of writing does something different to your brain. Like pen to paper, it puts it into a different place. It solidifies it a lot more, which is really interesting. So I think if that's been proven, the fact that we're moving so far, the kids are moving so far away from analog, you start to wonder if that's going to have an impact that we don't yet know about. So
probably will, a bit worrying, but
yeah,
that's how we're going to evolve, isn't it? That's how we're going. Just going to pick up a few more comments. Kathy says, I started keeping a gratitude journal, which I've managed to keep up every day so far this year. I also have a tarot journal, but I don't record any of my tarot readings, just when I remember. Lovely
practice, a gratitude journal.
And Spiritual Rain, hello there, says, Candy, your journal is beautifully artistic, so nice. I use dollar store sketch pads for my journaling. I love how everyone uses different things. It's brilliant.
It's lovely.
Yeah. I'm going to show you something I've been working on last year. And it was you, Candy, that inspired me. Our last video together, our last live, we talked about, we were going to do something about the sea, weren't we? Because we both live near water, we enjoy being near water. And we were going to do something about journaling or doing a grimoire or working with nature and things at the seaside and rivers. Do you remember that one?
I do.
Well, I had a big book that this, I think, was after the live. I've got this big empty book and I said, I want to do something with it so that I can start to journal. Well, I did do something with it, but it was nothing to do with the sea after all of that, because I just suddenly decided that I really wanted to do things with trees, and that's one thing.
It's got to be trees.
It's got to be trees. So I'm going to show you this, and this sums up my problem with journaling quite well. So I bought, was gifted this empty. It's a watercolor, just a watercolor book like that. But I didn't like what it looked like, so I redid the cover.
Oh, look at that! That's just beautiful.
And that's the back of it there. And all of those are actual leaves that I picked up on my walks.
Oh my gosh, I love it. How fantastic is that, everyone?
I'm really quite proud of it.
I should think you are.
And I kind of put like a fake spine. Now, it feels kind of leathery. It's got lots of PVA glue on it. I also bought these. I like these corner.
Oh my gosh, you were hiding your light under a
No, it wasn't. It was you that inspired me. And then talking about wrapping paper, because I didn't have end papers, I bought some wrapping paper.
Oh, that goes gorgeous.
So now I spent a lot of time on something that I love. I now have the problem of the first empty white page.
Yeah.
So that's really what the problem was, is that I really want to get started on this. But I don't know. I having spent a lot of time working on it, I know what I want, but I don't quite know how to achieve it.
What do you want?
I want an introduction, and I thought I found some pictures off the internet, which are just these silhouettes.
Oh, gorgeous.
So I thought I might try and. I've got some carbon paper. I saw somebody doing stuff with carbon paper, and if you cut it round and put carbon paper and then trace around it, you'll get an image. And I'm thinking about inking it in and making it like a contents page. Yeah. But of course, the problem is the contents page will be the last thing written, because I've got to think about the order. The idea in here is to keep stuff about the different trees and spells and Wicca thought and all those kind of wheels. So that's my plan. So you have inspired me to do the cover. Hopefully now this live will inspire me to now do the inside bit. But I like the idea of getting bits of nature, getting bits out of magazines and printing stuff off and making it a bit more collagey rather than lots of writing.
Gorgeous. Do you drink tea?
Yes.
What you need to do is put all your tea bags on the windowsill to dry, and then when they're dry, get the tea out, and because that would be lovely with the trees, because you've got all the texture. I mean, that first page, that first title page, after you've done all that beautiful cover, I mean, the pressure really is on, isn't it, after you've done all that beautiful cover? I've seen people use that first page. I've seen people use it as a if this book is lost page, with details, with your tree pictures. I've seen people use that as the protection page with a blessing. I've seen people even use it like with sketchbooks. I've seen people use that first page to test media on, because then it's really messy and then it takes the pressure off for the rest of the sketchbook. And I've done that myself, rather than having the pressure of that first page that you open. I mean, a protection charm, even if you print it out in an eye, or you could do an eye like in a leaf shape.
I tell you something that I saw, which I really liked, is that someone wrote a protection spell on the first page, but they did it in lemon juice. And lemon juice is invisible until you heat it up. So it's actually written on there, but it's an invisible ink on the front page.
How lovely is that? I mean, you can put so much magic on the pages. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Well,
I love it.
You can see the problem I got is that this was done, so now I've got to. But actually, if I start to distress the pages, like you say, with tea or even coffee granules,
think of background. Think of backgrounds that can really. I mean, if you've seen any of my toy tarot painting videos, you'll see me do that with every single canvas, because oil painting's new to me, and I was really nervous about learning to oil paint, and like a big blank canvas is daunting. So what I did, I just watered down the oil paints and slapped colour, so the whole canvas was in colour. And that was it, away. And I think you can do that with journals. You can just put your texture down first. It's just getting started.
I'm just going to quickly answer Calla. Hi, Calla. Calla's question on this one. I was going to make a video on it, and then it didn't. Basically, I got loads of leaves. It was autumn of going from walks, dried them out, stuck them on, and then put loads of tissue paper over it, so the veins all stuck out. I just put some little bits of wood to make like the cover. I'm going to get a nice plate to go in there. Covered it in a lot of layers of watered down PVA, and then painted it green. And then I used kind of, the distress inks and what do they call them? Like when you dry brush on gold and bronze. That's how that happened. So Calla was just asking me. So
it's fantastic. Tissue paper.
Again, it's one of those things like I'm a bit like, I'm happy with it, but I don't know if other people would look at it and go, oh, that's really rubbish or disgusting.
No, we're all looking at it thinking, blimmin' heck, that's fantastic. We're all looking at it thinking that.
But I have to thank it down to you, because it was your conversation that made me realise I needed to cover it. It didn't turn out quite, but that's the process that we're in there.
Yeah.
Spiritual Rain says, I use carbon paper to transfer stencils onto silhouettes are beautiful and very mysterious, especially trees. That's something I'm going to start this weekend then.
Richie, have you ever seen contact printing paper? Because you can do beautiful. It's that paper that you lay things on, then you put it in the sun and it prints.
Oh yeah, and you get like silhouette.
Lovely leaf stuff with that.
Do you know what? That's a really nice idea.
And a flower press you need as well. Can you imagine that? I've seen people press flowers and like nature things, and then like literally just put it between two layers of sellotape so it doesn't crumble in the book, and then put it in the book. Yeah.
You see, the problem is, I need to do it. The other thing is, I suppose I've been waiting for spring, the leaves and the trees to come back. That's what I'm waiting for. So yeah. But I've been doing a lot of preparation in ready for it.
Think about what I did with that tree there, that tree shape. You're missing all the magic of the tree shapes. Could go out and just collect shapes and what they say to you and write down sentences. Oh my gosh, it's just so exciting.
Oh, thank you for letting me share that, because that was kind of a bit like,
it's absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant. I want you to journal tonight and integrate your win of doing a brilliant journal cover. I think it's fantastic, Richie. So good.
Thank you very much. Well, yours are stunning, as we always know, and we've seen them here. That's not to do you a disservice there, Candy, but you're just beautiful bits of artwork, and that's one of the joys of having you on here to discuss it. And I'm really pleased that we managed to get some really useful thoughts and got over some obstacles by talking to you about it, so that I can go. And that was, I suppose, the purpose of this live, to feel like I can now actually start.
Can I talk about one more thing? Have I got time?
Of course you can.
I mean, this is just like a kid's scrapbook, like a ring binder scrapbook, but I keep this on my altar. So this was for like working with the weavers, because I meditate with the weavers a lot of the time. It's one of my, this and the Arthurian. But the difference with the weavers, I leave a card out for every like moon cycle. So, and you can see I started off doing it all in writing. I mean, the odd photographs and the odd sketch as well. But this turned into something different, because it was so impacting some of the visions that I was having in meditation, that I started, I don't know if you can see, I started doing sketches about what I was in the meditation and what the story that came to me. And it was brilliant for remembering it. It made me, now I can look back at these pictures and I can remember what the meditation was.
Brilliant.
So if, like me, you want to hold on to something and retain it with memory, think about using, I mean, you don't have to be an artist to do this. I mean, look at this picture. I mean, that is literally like a scribble. Anybody could draw that. That was a really impacting meditation, and the whole story of it is all there in that picture.
Right.
And rather than spending an hour trying to write down what happened in the meditation, it's there, and I can remember it just by looking at it. So,
but you're right. You need to get down then and there the essence of that.
Yeah, I mean, this was one this week. And there is some writing as well, but the image is just really good for capturing it straight away before you forget. So I just wanted to talk about that, because if you want to hold something in your memory, especially with like a witchcraft or spiritual or meditation practice, they're brilliant to do it with just a scribble doodle. It doesn't have to be brilliant art.
That's fantastic. I'm going to ask you a question. How often do you go back and look at any of your journals, or do you just put them on the shelf for 1 year and that's it, done?
Oh, what a good question. I go back and look the most at the ones that are visual. And what they mean, even though there are no words, is always still there. I don't go back and look at the ones that are written. The Hallow Quest I have, because I'm coming up with I'm still working with it, so things are coming round again. But like things like this, which is a journal. I know it looks like a sketchbook, but this is working through stuff that somebody else would possibly write down. I do go back and look at this because I love it, and it delights my soul to go back and look at it. And I'm still working with this one. So the more visual it is, the more likelihood I've got of going back to look. I mean, this is one that I was working on yesterday. So, and you can see it started off, I mean, this is an old diary that I never used. So I started off by gessoing the page. On this one, I've glued black lace at the top, and then I'm drawing on it. So
that's amazing. I just realised I was given a few weeks ago a lovely diary for 2023. It was about the beginning of February. Someone bought it for me to give, and I'm never going to use it. And I sat there and I thought, I'm just going to end up chucking that away. And I thought, I can use it for that. You've just inspired me. Yeah,
just gesso the page first. You might have to put like 2 or 3 layers to get rid of whatever's printed on the page. You just leave it drying overnight. And that's another tip. Have more than one journal, because if you're doing stuff like this in a journal, things take time to dry. So if you've got like 5 or 6 out and you gesso in them, you can work in one while the gesso dries. So it's always like a conveyor belt, but which took me years to actually think about, and it's so simple.
Hands up for everyone who will be journaling, being inspired by this live.
I'm so sorry if I've talked too much.
No. I mean, the problem is we have a finite amount of time, and we could spend another few hours discussing all of this and looking at our lovely work. There's never enough time for it. So that's the problem. I know, cool. I'm going to ask you another question just based on what you've just said. Sorry, this just popped into my mind. You said that you have journals that you would never go back and look at again. Would you consider re-gessoing those or using those images to make a new journal?
Yeah.
You would?
I would. Lovely. Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. And I think there's magic in that as well to do that.
Yeah. I'm just going to finish up because we're going to run out of time. We've done an hour and a half.
I know. I told you you'd be kicking me off at midnight.
But I think a lot of us in chat are going to be reaching for the gesso brushes and the journals and the paper and the glues and everything this weekend. I think we have inspired people, Candy.
Good.
That's real, and that's a great thing, isn't it, to know that what we're talking about interests people enough to actually go and do that. Duncan says, do you see those images in your meditation, Candy?
Yeah.
So exactly as you see them, you get them down on page.
And voices.
Wow.
And sensual sensations, the whole lot.
Yeah. Calla says, my memory is so hit and miss. It'd be lovely to retain some of them in drawings and pictures. Yeah. Even just colours may do it, mightn't they?
Any surface feature of art, shapes, anything can trigger memory.
Yeah. Spiritual Rain says, I'm visual too. I rarely reread my written journals, but always go back to my drawings, paintings. That's lovely. And it's funny how memories vanish and reappear when you get a prompt on it. It can be so random too.
Yeah.
I just pulled my gesso out. I love that. Lots of people saying this is fantastic. I think, do you know what I think we should do, Candy? Is perhaps in a few months' time, when I've started this, we come back and do another live and we revisit it. How would you feel about that?
I would love that so much. And I'm desperately trying to find my grimoire. There's so many books on this bed, it's ridiculous, because I have a book exactly like you've got that I spent forever doing the cover of, thinking this is going to be my grimoire. And because I spent so long doing the cover, here it is. I thought, dare I own up to this? So this was something that this is a reclaimed book. And then if you open it up, I've just got one page gessoed in there, and that's all. So I'm the same as you. I'm like, oh, what do I do in it now, though? And it's because I made such a big deal of the cover. Perhaps we should do the covers first.
Oh, well, that's a thought, isn't it? Oh, I don't know if I'd like that, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We did say we wouldn't set rules, didn't we?
Well, the pressure's on then. We could come back and share what we've done in our book, the books that we're scared of.
You're going to do that one. I'm going to do my one.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I like that. Because then that will definitely not force me, but will make me actively think about.
No, it'll force you. No backing out.
People are saying thank you. Donna's very, very up for another revisit there to come back to it. It's very inspiring, says Lynn. Now that I'm retired, I have more time to do things I've wanted for so long. We've all heard it here. There's going to be another live about you. Fit that one in. Got to do the journaling first. Yeah, and it's a good time to go and buy shares in Gesso.
Yeah, honestly, Gesso and PVA, they're so good.
Yeah. Well, I've got a lot of PVA. I do like a bit of PVA there with the glue and getting a bit messy with it all.
Oh, love it.
Question there from Beth. If you write the journal first, it would be interesting to see how the content would inform the cover.
Yeah, see, it would change it, wouldn't it?
Oh, so much to think about, isn't it? I had to go and journal about it. Candy, thank you. So have you got very much coming up? You've done a lot of lives and videos, haven't you? Have you got any more big plans for the next few weeks at all?
I want to desperately get out the house and do some adventure tarot at some point. That's high up on the list of things to do. So to get out and do some adventure tarot.
Good. We need to answer Robin's question. Can't leave him hanging here. What's PVA glue?
It's a type of glue. What does it stand for?
I don't know. It's the kind of glue that kids use at school. I know that. And it's very plasticky and it dries like a see-through kind of clear, like a cup. And you can water it down.
You can water it down or you can use it thick, but you can pile it on because it actually dries completely clear. So that's what I love about it.
There you go.
White school glue.
On it. polyvinyl acetate.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know that.
Couldn't leave Robin hanging with that one there. Lovely. I've got lots coming up next week. I'm just going to go through that one because I probably haven't got time to do my next Friday Longman Tarot, because Monday I'm with Robin on his channel, which I'm looking forward to. Tuesday I'm with Gerald and Jamie doing back and forth. And
Fantastic.
Thursday I am with the lovely Chris with a round table reading, and that's really exciting.
Lovely.
Trying to get together for 3 years to do that one, and we finally pinned it down. Fingers crossed on that one. So there's a lot going on next week.
Lots of exciting lives then for you.
Candy, I'm going to wish you a lovely weekend. Thank you so much. And I'm going to say thank you to everybody in chat. It's been amazing to have all these people in here. Again, I'm apologizing for not getting through everyone's comments. But everyone has
My
added.
fault.
So it's not your fault. We all came here to see you, don't we? Anyway, take care, everyone, and have a great weekend. Bye.